The first episode of iCarly aired back in September of 2007, where we saw the birth of a web show. How did this web show come to be? Well, this small group of Carly, Sam, and Freddie started it as a platform for kids like them to express themselves. Carly was the star and the main creative engine, Sam was the sidekick, and Freddie was the technical producer. When you look at the technicalities of how this web show actually came to be, it gets interesting. Freddie thought Carly and Sam bantering was quite funny, and he recorded it. And when that accidentally got posted on the web, many agreed with Freddie that this was real funny. People wanted more, Carly wanted to give them more, and Freddie came up with the name iCarly. A hidden drive for all these actions was Freddie's deep love for Carly, and in our first meeting with Freddie's character, he's already told Carly about his feelings and declared that he was willing to be friends with her no matter how painful it could be at times. He decided to be patient and help her with this web show, which ultimately became perhaps the biggest web show on the planet at the time, as this was uncharted territory on the internet at the time. With no Freddie in the picture, there would be no iCarly. Now, this story started, at least the documented version, in 2007, and now, in 2023, this story is still going, almost 16 years later. And while the iCarly web show has been on and off, and now ultimately not the same super hit that it was, the story that has been consistent and changing is the story of Carly and Freddie. Today, I want to tell that story, the Carly and Freddie story, all the way up until we get to what's happened now, in June of 2023. And it is historical, celebratory, and just straight up beautiful. Here is the story of Carly and Freddie. So, where do we begin? Well, we start the journey with Freddie and Carly in 2007, but Carly and Freddie have known each other for longer. They've been going to the same school and lived right next door in the same apartment building for most of their lives up until 2007, and for reference, they're 13 at this point. We never witness Freddie first admitting feelings for Carly, nor the process, but in the first meeting we get to see between Carly and Freddie, in the pilot, we see an exchange which tells us a lot. Freddie tries to walk Carly home from school, but he couldn't find her. He then waits at home looking through the peephole to catch Carly the moment she comes home. Clearly, Freddie is completely in love. It's all he's thinking about. When Carly gets home, Freddie rushes out to say hi, and Carly says this in their meeting by the door.
I thought we talked about this. We can be buds, but you gotta get over this crush thing.
Freddie has been in love with Carly since the 6th grade, and Carly has set a boundary with him. They are friends. But that doesn't stop Freddie from trying. Freddie already risked their friendship by telling her his feelings, and therefore they do have somewhat of a special relationship. Carly isn't ever mean or annoyed when Freddie mentions his feelings. She always turns him down kindly. It's always more of a, oh stop, or not now. She seems amused by Freddie's love of her, in a good way, and seems to enjoy his company and defends him whenever he's bullied by Sam. This seems like a good time to bring Sam into the picture of this story. Continuing on the oh-so-important beginning, the pilot episode, Sam confronts Freddie when he's making a clear effort to please Carly. She flat out says that Carly will never love you, and obviously Freddie becomes quite upset. Carly rolls her eyes and asks him kindly to stay. It's clear that Sam is not a fan of the idea of Freddie and Carly together, but also Carly is always ready to point out Sam when she's mean to Freddie. Sam getting in between Carly and Freddie is a constant, and it will take years of effort from Carly to get the two to get along. Freddie is now working together with Carly, and that means spending a lot of time with her every single day, which is probably a mixture of pain and happiness. We see him dream of Carly, and Carly dream of other boys. Freddie is jealous, but in a protective way. He sees and has seen guys come and go with Carly, and he is confident that he is the one that will end up with her, and he reassures her of this whenever he can. And others notice this from time to time, that there is something there, and Carly doesn't necessarily deny it. When Carly is potentially moving, things fall apart for Freddie, and when Freddie gets a girlfriend and doesn't have time for iCarly, things fall apart for Carly. We see Freddie risking it all to help Carly, and taking the fall when things do go wrong. Carly and Freddie are close, and enjoy joking around, and when Sam insults Freddie, Carly never agrees. Freddie always sides with Carly whenever she's in fight with Sam, and Freddie's defense is that he loves her, and he isn't shy to say that. In 2009, we see Carly and Freddie spend even more time together, and Freddie stands up for himself more. When Sam spends the whole week secretly pranking Freddie, Carly admits to Freddie that it is Sam. A mutual trust is forming. This bond continues when Sam owes both Carly and Freddie money, and they band together to get Sam to pay them back. And when Sam and Carly have a competition, Freddie backs Carly. Freddie continues looking through his peephole for Carly, which is getting a little weird at this point. But anyway, Carly is in Dream World again, and in her dream, Freddie has a girlfriend. She is disheartened when she finds out that Freddie gave up on her in her dream. Her appreciation for Freddie grows. This year takes a turn when Sam kisses Freddie, and Carly doesn't get to know about that yet. But Freddie continues to mention from time to time that he loves Carly. Carly has another short relationship, and Freddie also kisses Sam's twin. Carly does seem uneasy and surprised when Melanie and Freddie are making plans, and especially after Carly finds out that they kissed. Freddie seems to have liked his options this season because he makes moves on other girls he's intrigued by, like Shelby Marks, which is surprising to Carly. At this point, Carly and Freddie have spent around 6 years as neighborhood friends, 4 of those years with Freddie having feelings for Carly, and the last 2 years they've been working together. Their relationship has been growing with every year they spent together, and in 2010, tensions are rising as Freddie's first big secret from Carly is revealed. Sam and Freddie kissed. Carly seems at the very least curious and angered, if not jealous. Carly seems to be noticing Freddie's increased confidence and maturity. A pivotal moment in the Carly and Freddie story comes from Freddie's newfound confidence. Freddie asks Carly to slow dance, which she accepts. What started as a double date turned into a date and then a dance, which is their first intimate interaction, and it's clear that in that moment, nothing else matters for the two. Freddie is willing to put his life on the line for Carly, and he's shown evidence for this before, but never has he actually had to prove it until now. Carly is going to get hit by a taco truck, but then, when Freddie realizes what's about to happen in front of him, he instinctively pushes Carly out of the way and gets hit by the truck instead. Freddie could have died, but he didn't, and more importantly to him, Carly is unscathed. Carly is in awe of Freddie's commitment to her. He is her hero, and she says that to him. And then, for the first time ever, they kiss. And Freddie's life goal comes true. They start dating. Carly is now kissing him every chance she gets, scaring off other girls, and admits that she loves him. What could go wrong? Well, Sam tells Freddie that Carly isn't in love with him. She is in love with what he did, perhaps out of guilt. Freddie dismisses this, but it bothers him. It doesn't leave his head. He had always dreamed of this relationship being just perfect. He makes the incredibly difficult decision to tell Carly that they should wait. He breaks up with her. And he does this because he doesn't want to potentially take advantage of Carly. He wants her to love him unconditionally. Did Sam cause this? Yes. Was she wrong? Well, it's hard to say. I believe Carly was beginning to develop real feelings for Freddie with everything they had gone through, and when Freddie breaks up with her, she is sad, disheartened, and surprised. Things have gone back to the way that they were, but everyone has matured. Sam isn't picking on Freddie as much. Freddie is no longer begging for Carly to be his girlfriend. He understands that that is childish and reserves his thoughts and feelings more. Nonetheless, of course, he's still always there for her, no questions asked. We have been following their relationship for years at this point, but fans of the iCarly web show have started to catch up. A fan war breaks out with half shipping Carly and Freddie and the other half shipping Freddie and Sam. This is where we get the terms creddie and seddie. Having been in the spotlight at this point for years, the trio know, well, at least Carly and Freddie know how to handle situations like these, and after all, they do not like having their private life public. The iCarly web show has always strayed away from this, and that's why instances like when Sam revealed that Freddie had never kissed anyone before a couple years ago was such a big deal, and they learned from it. Speaking of Sam, in a surprising turn of events, Sam kisses Freddie, and seemingly, with them being at each other's throats for years, that intensity also translated into romance, but that was also the perfect recipe for a toxic relationship. Freddie and Sam enter a relationship which lasts around 2 weeks, but ultimately they break up, and while it was fun, they are better as friends, for now. Carly seems conflicted as she always wanted them to get along, but over time it starts to have a negative toll on her. She wants her best friend back and she wants Freddie to be there for her like he always had, but he couldn't when he was with Sam. Things end up working out naturally for Carly in the end. iCarly enters the peak of its popularity, and our trio is busier than ever, with every week seemingly more exciting than the next. One Direction, Jimmy Fallon, Pawn Stars, etc. And before they know it, it's all over. Unexpectedly, Carly is moving away from Seattle, for real this time, to Italy. The iCarly web show is going on an indefinite hiatus, and our gang is going their separate ways. When Freddie is packing his iCarly equipment for the last time, Carly visits him to give him a personal goodbye. Her way of doing this is giving him a long, sincere kiss. iCarly is over, for now, and Carly is on her way to Italy. So what now? Well, the story of Freddie and Carly continues. Now away from the limelight, Freddie and Carly continue to talk for hours a day long distance. With Carly being lonely in a new place, Freddie and Carly are more friendly than ever, and Freddie hasn't forgotten that kiss. A month into Carly's stay in Italy, Freddie decides he's going to visit Carly. His plan is to ask her to be his girlfriend over a romantic Italian night dinner. They are having a fantastic time. Carly is overjoyed that Freddie came to visit her. They are interrupted by an old man who points out what a lovely couple they are. Carly laughs at this and clarifies that they're actually friends, and that's when Carly tells Freddie that this is her most important friendship. Freddie is destroyed, but he hides how he feels. He fakes a family emergency and cuts the trip short. He feels like he's been strung along by Carly a little too long, and promises himself to never let Carly do that to him ever again. It was the worst night of his life. Now we have a gap. A 9-year gap, and there isn't much we know about this period. In 2021, we see Carly and Freddie in Seattle together again, in the same old building. They're back to being neighbors and seemingly the best of friends. Freddie has been married twice and divorced twice and has an adopted daughter. Carly has had many interesting experiences in Italy and she has studied, but now she's back in Seattle. And she's had boyfriends, but none of them seem to last. But we're back. Carly and Freddie are friends, meeting on the daily, same old shenanigans, and they even bring iCarly back. The same team minus Sam, who is out of the picture now. Carly and Freddie are incredibly comfortable with each other, and there seems to be a mental block surrounding the idea of romance between them. And after all, Carly does not know how Freddie felt on that fated night in Italy, and Freddie has made a promise to himself. 2021 picks up steam as Carly gets into a relationship. It's going well, but after some weeks, it falls apart when her boyfriend and her recent ex start fighting over Carly. Carly has now publicly rejected both of these guys and has gotten quite a bit of criticism for it. She needs a diversion, and Freddie comes to the rescue. Carly and Freddie announce publicly that they are dating, but it's all a ploy. Of course, it will also go wrong, and Carly eventually has to fess up, but this starts something. Carly begins to have second thoughts about what this relationship is. These feelings are only elevated when Freddie gets into a serious relationship, much like Carly had been in the last year. Naturally, with all this time Freddie spends with Carly, Pearl, Freddie's girlfriend, is observant. When it comes time to host Freddie's birthday party, Carly helps Pearl make sure the night is just right, and that's when she realizes that Carly knows everything about Freddie. Through the planning of this party and the party itself, Pearl comes to the conclusion that Freddie and Carly are in love, and Freddie and Carly don't know what to say. As I hinted in the beginning, this story is still going. We are almost completely caught up, but what happens this year is, like I said before, it's historical, celebratory, and just straight up beautiful. When Pearl storms out of his birthday party, Freddie follows her to try to salvage the relationship between Pearl and himself, which results in a 3-week-long road trip and couples counseling. While Freddie did that, Carly spent nights crying. All Carly wanted was a conversation to understand what she was feeling and why. When Pearl and Freddie return, it's awkward, and Carly and Pearl are clearly tense. Carly and Freddie end up avoiding the important conversation as long as they can, up until it really starts getting in the way of their friendship and their iCarly routine. They finally talk, and Carly admits that over all these years she's continuously thought about whether they should be together, but it's never been quite obvious enough. But Freddie said just the right words when finishing the conversation for Carly to realize that this was something more. At this point, Carly is becoming miserable. She knows that she's in love with Freddie, and she has problems hiding it. She's getting increasingly competitive with Pearl, and she gets a date to make Freddie jealous, which kind of works. There's a reason why Pearl's suspicions are there. Freddie does have that inner voice that will always have him coming to help Carly, to be there for her. And now that he sees signs of her being interested, it's starting to involuntarily have an effect on Freddie as well. Pearl has had enough. She's been promised one too many times that there's nothing between them, and we've reached her final straw. Freddie is upset at Carly at first, but quickly forgives her when they agree to try to figure out how they can be friends again. In a strange event, Carly loses all of her photos from the last 15 years. That includes the old iCarly pictures and pictures with Freddie. Freddie feels bad for Carly and offers to recreate them. They go through some memorable moments for them, like the dance at the Groovy Smoothie, their first intimate moment. By revisiting all these old memories from when they were kids, Freddie subconsciously is forced to go back to when he was a kid, a time when he was obsessed with Carly. It feels like this is working to Carly's favor, as she has somewhat planned this. The two are having fun recreating their old memories, and it's going well, up until Carly pulls out perhaps her favorite memory of hers, the time Freddie visited her in Italy. When Freddie finds out Carly has recreated his worst night of his life and hears Carly's version of it, he is in shock and angered. He has hidden his side of the story for 10 years, but he finally lets Carly know. They have a heated fight, and Carly reveals that she laughed because she was uncomfortable and that the kiss when she was leaving for Italy was for closure. Freddie storms out. Carly is deeply saddened, but eventually realizes that she never told Freddie how she feels now, and that's what she's got to do now. The day full of old memories and the fight has taken a toll on Freddie. He spends the whole night sleepless. He comes back the next day worried and emotional that he's lost Carly as a friend. He then finds Carly in the studio upstairs. Carly has recovered the lost photos and has a dozen screens of important memories in their friendship. She knows she must be the one to tell him how she feels, because Freddie wasn't going to be the one, if you remember his promise to himself. Carly realizes now all the things that Freddie has done for her. Freddie named iCarly. Freddie helped and pushed her to do it. Freddie saved her life. He's the one who makes her laugh, and she realizes that Freddie never stopped being her hero. That's what Freddie suggested all those years ago when he said that they should wait, and she still sees him as her hero. Freddie then clarifies that being Carly's friend is the best thing he gets to be, reciprocating what Carly told him 10 years ago in Italy, and they promise each other that no matter what happens from here, they will always be together, romantically or not. And then, the moment 16 plus years in the making, the moment both Freddie and Carly are unconditionally in love with each other at the same time. They share a passionate kiss. They are finally together. This might be the greatest childhood love story. There is something about two best friends becoming soulmates over 15 years through ups and downs and all that they've been through that is just truly beautiful, and they really are perfect for each other. This story isn't over. In fact, in a way, it's just started. I can't wait to see how this legacy will continue. Thank you for everything.